The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid Carolina Service Company.
Mid Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, weshopbobs.com for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at weshopbobs. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Red Rooster Sports Bar and Grill. Red Rooster is your neighborhood bar and grill serving the best wings, burgers, and baskets in the Met.
Like the amazing food, the bar is always on tap, and there's plenty of screens to watch the big game. Red Rooster is the Midland's premier meetup spot for local car and bike clubs, fraternities, and sororities.
Staff is dedicated to accommodating all kinds of parties and events. If you're looking to catch a game, have a bite, and a drink, look no further than the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster is located at 7500 Wilson Boulevard, Columbia, South Carolina. For more information, visit redroostersportsbar.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram at Red Rooster Sports Bar. Go where the winners go.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. I'm your host, Tamaya, as well as Skip, Mike, and DJ N. Today's special guest goes by the name of Gerard Gripp Richardson. Gripp is a Columbia-based jib crane operator, music producer, engineer, and entrepreneur. He is the owner and operator of Gripp Type Productions, which specializes in professional jib operations and cinematography. Gripp is also a 2021 Emmy recipient and has worked on projects with the 2014 and 2018 Winter Olympics. And he has also worked with live performances with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Widespread Panic, and Kanye West. So thank you for joining us this morning. Gripp, how are you?
I am in one piece. I would say that. Yeah, you know. How's everyone feeling?
Feeling well.
Good.
I know we had some technical difficulties this morning, but I'm just going to blame that on the solar eclipse last night. So giving thanks for being here. But, you know, I've known you for a minute now, and I really wanted you to be on this show. So you, of course, are like a mentor to me. So can you tell the people a little bit about yourself and how you actually got started, your backstory? Just take us through that journey.
Okay. Well, I started out feeling music. And I say that by saying I started out by dancing. You know, I got into I would say the hip hop scene, I got into that by dancing. You know what I mean? My first time on stage was 1994, the Stop the Violence tour. It was over 5,000 people in the house, and they were local fans, and they knew us, and they were screaming our names. So it was like, so I came into the game, dancing, and then I transitioned into MCing, rhyming, things of that nature shortly after, and then I would say around 1997 is when I was introduced into producing music, and what really got me about that was, to be honest with you guys, it was just the fact of seeing someone's head bob. That's what I was after. I was after controlling people from a distance, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that little small window there, it all stemmed from how I was raised. Being one of 14 children, I'm the 12th of 14 children.
Oh,
yeah, and my father, was a pastor, and just that the church thing. It was definitely church for me coming up. So, but with all that being the case, my father was he was self-taught with instruments.
Oh wow!
And I can recall about at least 7, 8 instruments that he was self-taught with. Let's say the harmonica, the accordion, the steel guitar, the guitar itself, the bass, piano, violin, a saxophone. Like all these were toys. These were things under the bed as a child growing up. So I mean, it was music for me. So that was my upbringing. So I had to do music. In my case, you know what I mean. I actually had to do it because that's all I was introduced to. And with older brothers, with my father being count on that Joe Jackson thing, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would have them rehearsing in the living room. So it wasn't furniture there, it was instruments. So I grew up with instruments in there, reel-to-reel, tape recorder, all that type stuff. I knew what that was, had indications of knowing when it was time to come back into the room. Once you hear that tape, one tape, fills up on the other side, the tape begins to flap like flop, 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 flop. So that was an indication, okay, they finished recording, we can go around it now. Yeah. So it was small little stuff like that, man, just growing up, that kind of led me to where I was. So that's why I said I feel music. I started feeling music. I started by feeling it.
That's pretty cool. So do you have a favorite instrument?
Man, me.
Yeah. It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Gripp is what I go by, but Gripp is an acronym, and pretty much everybody is a Gripp, or they can find the Gripp. And the Gripp is, the acronym stands for groove, rhythm, instrument, pattern, and phrases. And there you got life.
I remember the first time you told me that, I had to think for a second. I'm like, wow, right. And I really liked that you were a part of BeatCon. You really got to see, you as a producer and engineering. And
yes, that's cool.
It was amazing. Like, you have a different skill set. You just have a different sound. I really appreciate that avenue. But tell us a little bit about your beat tape and that you have.
Okay, interesting. Well, the thing about it is, the beat tape that I'm working on is pretty much, I titled it 1982 because 1982 was the year I was 7 years old in 1982. And just, from studying, reading up on a few things, I learned that, children, when they're born up until the age 7, 8 years old, around that age, they learn by what they see. It's not what you're telling them as a parent. It's what they see. That's what makes the grown person that they become. It's what they've learned in that channel, in that specific time frame. So what I learned, again, what I explained to you guys earlier, I learned music. I learned instruments. I learned how to make stuff, how to be creative. So, you know what I mean? So along the way, there were ups and downs. There were things that happened, issues or whatever the case may be, life situations. But what also came behind that study was learning that after an issue happens to a person, they create ways to hide that thing if they don't know how to express it. And that bully that you may have witnessed or you may have been, in elementary growing up, you were the first one to me, that was hiding something.
True.
You know what I mean? So I I titled the beat tape 1982 simply because of that. I was able to go back to where I remember, okay, this is all I seen growing up. Oh, so I make music. So why don't I do a beat tape called 1982? So, that's kind of where that was stemming from. So, again, it was a drop some jewels at the same time, but, at the same time, still display what I do.
And you do it very well. You do it. I have to give you that. So for the people that don't know what a JIP operator is, can you please break that down a little bit?
Certainly. A JIP operator is, they're considered to be in the Gripp department, if you're familiar with a film set. And the Gripp department is responsible for, I would say, support, things of support, moving like light stands, camera, the jib again, the dolly. The dolly is where the camera sits on and you track a shot, sits on the track and rolls back and forth. So it's in that department, camera support. You know what I mean? But I'm a camera operator.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
That's what I am. I get what a jib operator is, but I am a camera operator. I'm a creator.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? In that sense. And I go there and I state that because simply I say camera operator so people can understand it. But in actuality, I'm a music producer because what I do with that machine is produce beats.
Hey.
Okay, I got an Emmy for daytime, TV show, but I produce music.
Yeah.
So that's what you receive from me. But that's what they judged it to be, was camera jib operator. So to sum it up, it's a long crane. It can extend to, 6 feet, 12, 18, and so forth. And you place the camera on that. And they have what they call a hot head on it, or a remote head, where the head is remote. It has 2 axles. You can pan and you can tilt. And you actually have some that have a third axle where you can roll, meaning the camera kind of roll. So you're controlling those 3 things all at the same time while you're panning and controlling and booming the actual jib itself. And depending upon how skilled you are, you can then you are able to operate and like the focus and the zoom at the same time. So it's a multifaceted thing to me. That's simplicity, because it's control. Like, I'm a control freak, as they would call it. I gotta have control of what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So that's how I was introduced to it. And the guy that introduced me, Chris Rhodes, big up to Chris Rhodes. He introduced me to the jib by, explaining these things of being able to, have that control. So to me, what I seen when I seen him first building it, the first time ever seeing that on set, I immediately said to myself, that's a sample. Like I said, like it's a sample. Like to me, it's the process of making a beat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So in that process of making a beat, each section of it as you build it, to me is like a sample. So you load the sample up into your DAW or your beat machine, and you have them loaded and ready. So once the jib is complete and built, all right, I'm loaded and ready. So whatever the assignment is, okay, now I begin to be creative as a producer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So say, for instance, you're an R&B artist. You come into the session. I don't need to be making no rock music. I need to be making an R&B song. Yeah. So when I'm shooting, I would say a church, something like a church event, regardless, or believe it or not, there's a beat that exists. And you have to find it. and then you have to join it. You have to become one with it. You know what I mean? So that process is constantly happening when I approach. So, you know, a lot of times I don't want to know who the artist is or the band, so that surprise of being creative is always there.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking about watching these church services when you're watching it on television and you see how the camera zooms in and out. It's really like a motion, like
Yes.
it's a feeling. So that's amazing.
Yes. It's a very unique thing. Again, I apply, you know, my music, you know, that experience to the whole concept of it, because it's like a band. You know what I mean? You take a band, if one instrument is out of tune, don't guess what. Hey, dude, what are you doing? Hey, man, get it together. Hey, man. It's an immediate thing. So it's the same thing when it comes to a production. Everybody is a band member, and we have to acknowledge that from the beginning. Like, the director is a band member.
Yep.
The producer is the actor. Band members. We're all band members. But let me come in there out of tune. And you understand how important it is for you to, you know, that we got to work, that we come together, you know, for that one thing, which is to create something that's magical.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain to us, like, who influenced you as far as music? Like, who did you grow up listening to?
Oh, man. Awesome. That's a great question. I grew up listening to gospel music, and that was first because that's how I was raised. But I would say moms, unfortunately, had older brothers. And these cats introduced me to everything in the world you can imagine that had funk in it. You know what I mean? So Cameo, the Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, I had a real wide range of music influentially. So, I mean, I would give it by genres or categories, I would say, because it was gospel, it was R&B, it was country. My father loved country. I knew who Charlie Pride was. I bet I can guarantee most of you guys do not know who Charlie Pride is. Man.
Good old Charlie Pride.
Okay, man, Charlie Pride. So, you know, Roy Clark, you know, Hee-Haw. But it was music. It was music. So, you know, things of that nature. So, I mean, Steely Dan. I grew up listening to Steely
music. Dan. Yeah, good music.
Yeah, it was that type of stuff. What's his name? John Denver. Like, it was music. Yeah. You have to understand what I'm explaining, because music do not have a genre. No. Like, it doesn't have a genre, a color. It doesn't have, it's what it is. You know what I mean? And when you get in tune with it, then it becomes you.
True.
Yeah. So, and my biggest influences was, I would say, band music that consisted of a band. Didn't matter.
Okay.
If it was a band, because it was all about everybody coming together doing their different thing to make that one sound. To me, it's a family, and born in a big family. You gotta understand, I relate everything back to what makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's just a band to me is just a family to me is a band.
One beat, one sound.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But you still have to be in tune. That's why we came here. We came here to perform this one song, guys, or this one show. And that's kind of how, you know, the bottom line is. So my biggest influence is pretty much band music.
Man, is there any specific type of band music that you like to listen to yourself? Like big band, jazz? It's going to be rock. Do you like classic rock, pop, anything like that?
I tell you what, there's a band. They're out of the new, I think they were college students in Boston somewhere, something like that. I don't want to be quoted wrong about that. But the name of the band, though, I know the name of the band. The name of the band is the Budos Band. Budos, the Budos Band. Yeah, the Budos. Listen, those guys, like the music, it's like every song is a movie and it's an actual scene
Wow.
And you can see it. It's beyond feeling it. Like you can see it. you vividly see it. And they're one of that, like, and I was introduced to them in 2014 in Sochi, when I was in Sochi, Russia.
Dang, that's cool, man. Speaking of being going to Sochi, Russia, of course, we know that you filmed and were part of creating an extremely amazing image experience over at the Olympics. Could you talk to our audience about your decision to change course and take a big risk, and leave Columbia to go and pursue your career in the film industry? And how did it affect the people around you?
Okay, well, that's a great question. Well, at that time, the best way to sum it up is in 2010, 2011, I would say that's 14, maybe 15 years since I started making beats in 97. Let me be honest with you guys. I was fed up. I was done with Columbia.
Dang.
But I want to be clear. Like, I was done. I had written this place off. It was done. It was completely done. Meaning, as far as music and coming together, you got to understand what I explained to you guys and express where my bases are. It's family.
Mm-hmm.
Dog, come on, man. We can't have a problem with talking to each other. We can't be fighting and try to kill each other every time we got a problem and an issue.
Yeah.
And then you can't bring that nonsense and rap over my beats. I'm a little bit more crazy than you. I got questions that I need to ask before that I need to know that you can think beyond if you're capable of trying to rap that stuff over my music. And I recall, asking a few questions before sessions and brothers weren't able to record because their mental brain capacity was like, what did you just ask me, man? I just got shot. I just killed. But what did you just ask? Yeah. Like, cause I'm serious about what I just asked you, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
See, so it was those things. And I just kind of got fed up. Like, I was done. I was burnt out with trying. And I would stress the word trying to help. Because that's the biggest problem, I think, in the world is when people try to help people, when people don't want that help.
Yeah.
Biggest problem. And so, I had got fed up and I couldn't reach no more out to nobody else. Didn't want to talk about music. Didn't want to be talked to about music. So I was like, I got to do something else. Like I have to, but what is it going to be? So long story short, I met back up with an old friend, out in Cali that I met here, and female. And she was a good friend. And we reconnected on Facebook and just kind of, stayed in communications. But at that time, before that time, I was at a point like, okay, I mean, I'm managing a smooth jazz artist at the time. I'm trying something different. I'm managing, I start a car wash, managing a restaurant, and living out of a studio all at the same time.
Wow.
And, but it was like, man, I got to do something different. Yeah. So I began to, I'm going to do this right here before that, because in 2008, I end up at Quantum Beach.
Okay.
Over there. And I was there for a year. And there I was introduced to, filming or video camcorder for the first time. Film a few artists that would come in after they record a song. And I immediately knew how to put the two together, meaning I know they mouth need to match up with. So I already knew that visually.
Oh, okay.
How to do that, because I'm doing that visually with the artist without the image.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like that. It's like you didn't have to ask me that. So I was introduced to that there, and ended up, up and down doing things here and there. and, testing, just getting experience, but not really saying I'm a camera guy or anything of that nature. Or, you know what I mean? And then I get introduced to a job to do where I needed artists asked me to edit some footage for them. So I edited the footage, and the video came out pretty nice. Well, at least as I was concerned. But again, I was at that time. I wasn't full aware that. Hold on, this is that thing though. This is that thing like that ASR 10 or that Kurzweil 2000 you had it back in 97.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same exact, and you have that same exact feeling, Grip. It's like it's nothing. It's all identical. So I began to then, ease my way into learning the language. I needed to learn the language. The point is this is a thing I live with. There's nothing in the world I can't do. I can promise you that. There's nothing in the world I can't do. It's all about whether or not I'm interested or do I have time.
Got you. I agree. I like that. I like that mindset. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So with that, it was like, okay, all right, so I'll get it. It's just, so I began to learn the language. I needed to learn the language because I already knew how to do it. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm already editing, meaning I'm syncing up this artist's lyrics as he's recording it. I have to sync it up with this beat. Mm-hmm. And if he's not on sync, bro, you got to do this over again. Yep. Can we do this over again? I don't want to inch it over. I don't want to nudge it over, bro. You got to go perform this.
Right.
So that was my thing. So I already knew how to do that. I just needed to learn the language. Like, what are you talking about? Import? Like what?
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, what are you saying? Cut, J cut, like crossfade. What are you saying to me? So I learned the language. Once I learned a little bit of the language, I was like, okay, all right, this ain't enough. So I got on another project, and 2010, I just got on the project and ended up realizing, like, you know what? I shot it, edited, and I was like, all right, that's it. It's a wrap, meaning I was able to do the complete process by myself.
Oh, shoot.
That was the thing, meaning I shot it, edit, and then I was able to look at it. Like play it back. It's just, it goes back to the music. My whole thing was the beats play in my head. Like when I hear a song, I wouldn't hear the whole song. I was hearing the drum, the hi-hat by itself. I hear the snare by itself. I hear the kick. I can tune in each instrument, so I hear it all. I can break them down, but I need to know how to put them back together. And that's what I was interested in with the machines. Like, I'm doing this internally. I don't need that help. I just need how you do this on the machine. So long story short, putting all that stuff together, man, learning the language, getting to that point and learning that language, learning the bare minimum of that language that I was capable of doing that. That's what drove me to going online and saying, you know what, I need to go. I need to get out of Columbia, first of all, but I need to go where I don't know nobody. Like, I gotta actually be fending for myself because South Carolina is a place where I'm too comfortable. Mm-hmm. I can fall out the front door and be in somebody's house of safety, and it's like, no, I don't want that. Yeah. I don't need that for where I'm at right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
be a challenge.
I needed the challenge. New York. I've been to New York. I lived in New York for a couple of months. I've been to Florida, family in Florida. Not going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Texas is halfway saying that you halfway want to do something. Nope. I said I'm going to LA.
Let's talk about getting out your own way.
Oh man, that was the whole objective. Getting out of your own way. I came up with an acronym, and all right, guys, just let me patent this first. Now I'm just kidding. Now, what it is I came up with an acronym, and that acronym I was looking at, a God way. Actually, I'm gonna say this. I heard, that's what happened. I was like, I heard Ludacris song. Let me be straightforward. I think this was before or after, but I'm gonna add this. I think this was before I came up with the concept, or either afterwards, but I'm gonna add it. But in Ludacris song, Move,
Get out the way.
The song goes, get out the way. Get out the way. Now slow that down and you will get out the way. You got G-O-D.
You're right.
Way. And I was like, that's the way right there.
Wow, God way.
Yeah. It's God. It's not my way is what I was saying to myself. It's like, it's not my way. It's never been my way. I've been living for 37 years. Here it is, 2011. I'm 37. I'm like, I've been living for 37 years and I'm still here in this position. Something got to be wrong.
Exactly.
Something got to be wrong with me.
Yeah.
So that's what I began to figure out. Like, it's been me the whole entire time. It hasn't been nobody. It hasn't been no situation. It hadn't been nothing but me because I've been me my whole entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So who else am I going to blame?
Dang, that's deep, bro. That's deep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, to me, it's still the first day I was born. I mean, if I hear the story of the sun rising and setting, I get it, but bro, it's still the same day. It's still the same day. You know what I mean? So once that was the key of getting out of my way because I realized, Gripp, you second guess yourself about that scenario 10 years ago. You second guess yourself about that scenario yesterday. You don't have the confidence you need in yourself to do that. Why don't, like, these were actual the in your ways.
Yeah.
Those things, all of those things. And the first thing a person will do is become afraid of those things. Why though? They become afraid of those things because it's them. It's them. Who wants to acknowledge that they're a failure?
Exactly.
Okay, then nobody. So you afraid of that. You afraid of it. You run from it. You do all kind of. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I'm explaining to you like this. I became the most creative person running from it. I became the most. This Emmy is a result of my creativity from running from myself.
Yeah.
So you become your most creative when you run from yourself. So I figured out if I was running from myself and if I began to run to myself and I still be creative, I can imagine what I'd be able to accomplish then.
Wow.
Deep. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Look at it because creatives, our mind is just everywhere.
Right. Well, it goes everywhere because we can't forget. Remember what I said to you earlier about the beat tape, 1982?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody beyond the age 7 years old had something happen to them that they might have not dealt with.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So they became a creative.
Mm-hmm.
They created something in habit or anything that goes to cover that thing up.
Yeah.
So they master that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You know what's wild about that? So I recently started listening to the Will Smith audiobook, right? And one of the main themes of the book was because of what happened to him in his childhood, like you said, around that age range, and particularly with the domestic violence that he experienced at home with his mother and his father, and particularly his father. He learned how to entertain and make people laugh because he was like, well, this is my way of keeping people safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was like, if they're laughing and they seem as if they're having a good time, then they can't hurt no one. They can't hurt me. They can't hurt my brothers and sisters. They can't hurt my mom. They can't hurt me. And and so with his personality, he developed that whole entertaining, that laugh, that comical side as a way to, that creative piece as a way to protect himself from those things, that harm, that trauma he experienced at that young age.
Right. I mean, and I mean, that's pretty deep. You know what I mean? Because, one of the other reasons why I came up with God way is for the simple fact God is in you.
Mm-hmm. True.
You are God. We are God.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody. And the thing is, I grew up, bro. Listen, I'm pretty sure all you guys can agree, and your audience. Everybody grew up, or they were raised. They grew up in the church.
Yep.
You are afraid to say that you are God.
Yeah.
It's simply because of the program that's
it.
Yeah. But let's slow it down and realize God is in you. If he created
exactly,
then Let's go beyond he. It created you. It is in you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is you. So why would I be afraid to even acknowledge that?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I get it. It's a what they call a rabbit hole you go down if you go there.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. I don't think your channel may not be prepared to go down that rabbit hole.
You can jump down the rabbit hole now.
Yeah. No, I mean, bro, I'm saying I'm there because the thing is God is in you. And I'll test anybody to argue me about the fact God ain't in them. Because if you existing to argue, then God is already in you. He created you to be there arguing with me.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's funny. I tell people all the time, everything that you fight against is right in front of you. It's the same stuff that you've been reading and testifying on, etc. It actually backs up and tells you what you're supposed to be doing. But again, I think it goes back to what you're saying. Too afraid to go deal with yourself and to get out of your way. Yeah, you just don't want to.
Yeah, afraid of it. Afraid of it. I've been afraid of it. I'm speaking that because I've been afraid of it. And it's true things that I'm still afraid. I wouldn't say afraid of, but it's like, listen, I'm let me calculate that. Let me calculate that. So but this is the actual magic though, that your audience probably would appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once you begin to realize the first part of that, of getting out of your way, you realize that it's a universal thing.
Yep.
You will realize everybody is suffering from almost the exact or either worse type thing that you have actually been suffering with. And when you begin to see those things in people, it will cause you to be the God in that way. You know what I mean? Because we're here for people. We're not here for ourselves. We're here for people, and that's gonna take a lot of growing out, not growing up, but a lot of growing out of your old way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I heard a brother. I heard a brother say one. I think it was a post I read. I can't put it together, but it was. He say after a certain age, you grow like 18 to 20, like you're done growing up. At that point, you got to grow out.
Mm.
Yeah.
You got to grow out of your old ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because once I added to it, I've never tried to change myself. I've never tried to change myself or anything about me. I'm going to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say this. It's simply because I have to change the way that I do things, the way that I say things, the way that I accept things, the way I think about them. That's what needed to change, not me. Because because on the back end, the results of me changing the way that I do things or see them or read, like approach or say things, the way that when I change that, you will see the change.
Right.
So when you see the change and receive the change, it's confirmation to you that boy didn't change. But that's what it is. But you only change the way that you did things.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like changing your outfit. If I change my outfit, you mean tell me I change with it?
Yeah.
I'm still me. The meaning, and then I go here. It's principles. The reason why I was able to apply the principle of music to film is because the principle never changes. Only the outfits.
I see.
Or the language.
The language.
Yeah. Or see, because you go to China and you go and you punch somebody in the face talking about, hey, hello. Listen, you might get chopped. You're going to get some sushi. Okay. So what I'm saying is the principle doesn't change. You don't do that.
Yeah.
That's beyond universal.
Yeah.
That's the principle. So, the principle, when the principle never changes, that's what I'm attracted to the principle, because if the principle don't change, then let me change the outfit. You ain't got to change my outfit. Let me change the outfit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me be creative from that point, but give me the principle.
And do you think and I like that. That's a good outlook to apply, especially if you're somebody who's looking to go follow your dreams and to do something that you love to do or that you want to do, especially if you're changing or moving from one career aspect to another. That's some advice. That's advice people I think they should take to heart is, like you're saying, just like change your outfit.
Yeah.
Change that outfit. You're still you, but change the outfit, the action, the behaviors. That's some deep advice.
It works, man.
It sounds like it worked.
Bro, it took me around the world 3 times. And I'm on my way out across the globe for again.
Dang.
To shoot the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, man. Hey, all I can say is get out your way, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Listen,
I like that.
Hey, think about it like this. If you aren't there, just think about that thing that it is you want to do. Mm-hmm. Or you look, if you're not there, you can be at the starting line, spinning wheels, blowing up all the little smoke. but your partner over there gripping, like he gripping the he's gone.
Okay.
But you spinning wheels, looking all good and cute.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody else is moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's about that's the get out of the way part. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like, I say it like this too, in a race, a car race, who wins the race? Is it the car or the driver?
Ooh, good Lord. Are they indistinguishable? Who wins? Yeah, the car is just a machine. The people work on it. Yeah,
it's a tool, man. It's a tool. Yeah, it's something you have to use. You have to use it. That's why in Gripp, GRI, groove rhythm instrument. It's the I in the middle being instrument because you are played. You're going to be played for the rest of your life. Yeah. Whoever think he ain't being played, let me put you up on game, homie. Well, how deep you want to go in your pot? Well, you've been played already because you in front of me.
Exactly.
See, that's where I'm at with it because you are an instrument. Everything, if you exist, you are an instrument. That means you are being played. Meaning, just think about it like this. Right now, I am an instrument in your podcast. You guys call me, invite. All right, I'm being used in your podcast.
Very true.
Okay. You guys are your whole podcast is an instrument in my life as I move. You're being used right now. I created it and I'm going to use it. Mm-hmm. So that's what people do. But again, we become afraid when we want to be told to do everything.
Right.
Well, hear me. Everything. Yeah. Everything. When you want to be told to do everything.
It can be hard. See, this is a nice little transition. Having to actually take on that mantle, that responsibility, it can sometimes be daunting, especially if you're jumping into a new endeavor, something that you haven't done before, but it's where you need to be at. That's where your love, that's where your passion is. You need to make a move. You need to make a change. And like we're talking about getting out of your way, you're trying to do that. Could you explain to our audience, because sometimes people are hard. It's hard for some people to be their own boss. And as we're saying, like people, they run away from this ability. Could you explain how you pivoted into the realm of film production where you are while maintaining a level of success and being your own boss? Like, how do you hold yourself responsible, especially as you change from doing one thing and, like you said, language and transition into this other realm of thinking and thought?
Well, great question. With that, it's something that I realized. I'm a slow learner. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I'm a very slow. I have to listen to songs. The reason why I was breaking instruments down in music because, bro, I didn't record what they were saying too quick because one word can sound like another word, and I think they saying one thing, and I'm trying to sing the song out loud, and I'm all wrong, and then I'm getting picked at. So it's like I'm done. I'm good. I'll just listen to the music, y'all. So I had to hear the song, multiple times over and over, to kind of get it. But the thing is when you're transitioning from one thing that you're doing to another, I say you have to have a program running prior to the transition.
Interesting.
And what I mean by that is my first job. I remember my first job that I applied for, went and got. I was in the 10th grade, man. It was McDonald's, and I applied for that job. Listen though, you got to listen. I applied for this job, and I was like, okay, 1 week. They say 2 weeks. You get paid. I'm like, okay, week and a half stuff. That stuff wasn't making sense to me Why? Like, what is this week and a half before I get paid? Like, none of that is making sense to me. So, but I'm going to roll with this for a second. But this was the thing, though. In my brain, in the 6th grade, and this was before that job, in the 6th grade, I learned what the word entrepreneur was. That's what I was going to be. And an entrepreneur don't do applications and all that. So I knew when I was signing an application, in my brain, the program that was running is that I don't work for these people.
Yeah.
I'm working with these folk. Because as soon as something go wrong, I'm out. As soon as something don't go my way, I'm out. So that's the program that constantly ran since my first application. I never wanted to wait on that check. So the program is let me work with you. So if your income ain't coming fast enough to build my plans, then I'm out. That was the whole program.
Exactly.
So you get a job. I would say to anybody, get it. But you go there with that program of working with them. Don't ever program in your brain you work for anybody but yourself.
True.
So without that program, it's going to be not only the worst, it probably never will happen because of that program that runs. So you have to work with. It's like I work every job that I've gotten in Hollywood. I worked with them. And the ones I can count to you, meaning that my company was hired.
Explain that for the people, because so they can understand about you owning that company. Explain what you mean.
Yeah. I have an LLC, and I set the company up to represent me because I work for it, meaning, again, here's that program running. I work for, meaning me. I work for myself. So with that program running, I set up my business, and I have history in setting up business, but I have history in setting up business the wrong way, very, immaturely going about it. But I needed to learn these things myself. So my first business was when my daughter was born in 2000. And not knowing I'm not selling, products and stuff like that. I got retail license and all kind of stuff. I got to put a light. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. So long story short, I ended up getting to a point to where I started the Gripp Type Productions LLC. And with that was to represent me when it came to employment, work, things of that nature. Cool. Now, I'm not the best. I'm the worst when it comes to running a business. I can start it and do the work inside, but running it worst. So I've been learning along the way to incorporate, but up until this point, I've been able to do that myself to represent me, because what happens is when you do contracting, when you contract with a company, you're kind of partnering. So you're a contractor, meaning that you're showing that you're capable of doing what you agree that you can do. And it's not like as an employee or an employer hiring you to.
You're a service provider.
Yeah, you become a service provider. So that separates you. That puts you in a different place, a different status, a different standard. And that puts you in a different negotiating situation because, I produce. I can produce anything.
Yeah.
Bring it. I'll produce it. That don't mean I may actually have to do it. See, this I knew from the beginning. So I was like, well, let me just start a production company. Smart. So I let that, run ahead of me and be the thing that represent me. So when I would go out and when there would be 1099s and things of that nature, what I learned in Hollywood and in LA was that, it was rare that they would want you to employee sign. It was always contract this, contract that. I was like, oh, I get the rhythm. I see what's happening. That's up my lineup. Yeah. So I did that. I got in place with that. And to be honest with you guys, I'm going to reveal a secret. I didn't open my first bank account until 2011.
Wow. Yo.
Yeah,
How
man.
Are you doing it with no bank account?
I'm saying up until then. Well, up until then. Well, okay. Again, it's some parts that I didn't touch on along the way because with the hip hop, when it came to music.
Yeah.
Okay, with the music business, I can honestly say I did not make a dime.
Man.
In the music business. But let me explain that. Reason being because I had got so used to hand to hand. I mean, guys come to the studio, they pay you, boom, get out, come in, make a beat, boom, boom. Okay, that hand to hand transaction, that's what I was introduced to.
Gotcha.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it converted to, hey man, email, send me an email, paper, bruh, dude. I mean, seriously, that was it, because I was introduced through the underground.
You're right.
And I literally was introduced to music through the underground. You understand, hip hop was an underground against the grain type thing. So I was going to be hand to hand, money in the mattress forever.
Yep.
So that mentality is why I'm saying that mentality is what actually caused me to miss out, because it didn't convert over and process the data that was being thrown at me, because I didn't prepare the programs or write the programs prior to that change. All
right. Got you.
So missed out totally. So that's what took me so long to get there.
Okay.
When it came to, that, you know what I mean? So with that being the case, in 2011, I got a check. I'm like, yep, buddy. Hold on. I can't get the check.
Yeah, you can't cash it.
Well, what happened is I was getting paid, and I felt comfortable going to, what's it called? The check cashers.
Check cash, yeah.
Oh, they were banging me across my cranium.
I know it were, man.
Bang. And I was like, okay, I'm done with this right here. And I was like, okay, let me try it. Well, that last one was like, oh man, this chunk right here, I can't let y'all eat this one here.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I was like, all right, so let me go get the bank account. So I go through the process and get the bank account. And man, I promise you guys, it was the worst and the best thing that ever could have happened to me at the same time. Because here it is. I'm unfamiliar with banking. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it operates. I'm not unfamiliar with fees. I'm like, fees, just listen, hold up. My money's sitting here, but why do I got to ask you so many questions to get my, I didn't understand none of that stuff. So I questioned them because I was raw for real. Like, I didn't understand this. But a lot of the people were expecting me to accept it.
Exactly.
No way possible.
You knew it was a hustle.
I mean, the point was whether it was a hustle or not, just explain to me what's happening. Because if it's a hustle, I don't think I would have done it.
I know.
I was just thinking that I can believe what you guys are telling me up until this point of like, hold on. It's too many overdraft. Like what? I explained the branch overdraft. We have to be friends for me to have someone look out for me like that. So we're not friends. So please draft over.
Yes.
Get the draft off me. Okay. We have to be friends. We business partners, man. Come on, man. I'm not with that. I rely on my friends when I don't have it.
Exactly.
So we're not friends. So take that nonsense off of there. So I went back and forth day to day with them like for months to understand that you guys are really just raping me. So I slid my debit card across the table multiple times. Like, listen, I'd rather you guys take this money and me give it to you and take it versus feeling like I'm being actually extorted.
Yeah.
It feels like the gun is in the back of my head right now. So with all of that being said, I was not conditioned to accepting certain things, so I didn't bow to that. So again, when it came to the money, paying me the money, going to get the money, I applied the same thing. Mm-hmm. To the business, to the people. It's like, listen, if I do this, or if you say this is what the rates are, let's do this. This is what I agree upon. You pay me in this time. This is what it was. So that business works better than being an employee.
Yeah, got it. And real quick question, I know we were talking about hip hop. Are there any specific lessons from your background in doing hip hop that you applied to your career in film, like per se, how you shoot a scene? Would you say anything specifically influenced from hip hop?
Yeah, it's definitely. I have to, before I shoot a scene, I don't know how you guys are rated, but I go pay my homages to nature. Yes, I have to pay my homage, meaning I go there because I'm channeling in. I got to channel into something. And again, I like the surprise of kind of not knowing who the act is or the artist or even their songs. I can know who they are, but I don't want to know their song. I don't want to know their set. I don't want none of that. I just want it to hit me because that's going to allow me to create. So it's like going to perform on my first time going to perform on stage, walking out there right before, you know what I mean? Before it actually happens is where you have to, is where your skill is where it determines your skill set.
Got you.
Like right before you, like if you're walking on stage, you could be in the dressing room, you could be in the hallway, but right before you walk through that thing and you go through that threshold, when you know it's on, that's the magic.
Yeah.
So I need to create that every time for myself.
Yeah.
I always create that for myself. Just meaning that I just create my own little world. I'm in my own little world. So, I make sure that, a jib operator, you gotta understand, somebody walking in on set with that type of equipment, they at least need to know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you
somebody.
So you kind of got that kind of respect, but at the same time, there are certain things that I need and that I kind of desire that I want and need there to kind of help me get there in order to make sure that you're going to get this at this type of quality.
Mm-hmm. So what type of sacrifices have you made?
I'll tell you this, I sacrificed. My daughter was 11, 12 years old when I left, when I left 2011, 2012. But it's not that I regret that, anything of that nature. It's just that if I was able to bring her on like I in my brain, I thought I would have been able to do in a certain set, time frame, then I would have felt better.
Got it.
You know what I mean? But she gave me my blessings. She was like, I asked her and my mom. Those at the time, those were the two females that I needed, that I felt honor to. Mm-hmm. And I asked both, but I asked my daughter, I was like, so, hey, Dad, got this opportunity to do this and that, to go film school, at least. And I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm giving myself 2 years. Because I knew in 2 years, associate degree, hey, you can move from there. You can do something. So she was like, you know what, Dad, you should go and do it, because you definitely don't want to be like later on in life, like you had an opportunity to do something and you didn't take the opportunity to do it. Mm. Man, I got up out of here so quick. I almost ran to the airport. I'm out of here. I'm gone. No, I needed, that's all I needed. I need certain things in order to, like I said earlier, do anything that I want to do. And that was one of them, you know what I mean? Disappointing my mother or my daughter, like those are the things that, those are things that don't need to happen.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So, but that time frame to bring them there is something that would have felt better.
Yeah, yeah. So they could have shared the experience with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally understand that, man. Do you have any advice you like that you could give to our audience, especially because like the way you explained that made so much sense. Like people don't understand that part. Like everybody wants to be able to do what makes them feel good, but they want to do it with the people that also make them feel good. Could you explain, like, if someone's trying to make the jump to becoming full-time, like how do you deal with the pressures of balancing that now, since you have the ability to, since you're no longer schooling for it, you're actually actively working in the profession. How do you balance that the work and life balance?
Well, to be frank, it's one. I don't want to lie and say that it's all this and that. It's one. It all ties together. The question is how do you tie it together? Yeah. It's how. Again, don't walk up to me saying you love me with followed right behind a hawk of spit in my face. It's like, how do I associate love with that hawk of spit? It's like, it's time to fight now. You know what I mean? So it's how. That's what I'm saying. It's all about how you do the thing. What, when, like all that stuff matters to that point to where it's how. I leave the how last because it's how you do it. It's how it's done. It's how you made me feel. That's how I remember you.
Got you. So when having those two things, you try to perform in a way that allows for those two to be one.
Yes, because if you look at up, then that means it came from down. Okay, so the two exist. The point being is when. Okay. All right, that's why I say when you got the when, where, and all that stuff, it's the how, and that's how you applied it afterwards. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because up came from down, in, out. I was out to get in something. Mm-hmm. So the point being is, I tell you what, I was thinking about this coming over here, and I this is the truth. Over my life, I've gained a skill to be able to freeze frame a moment in life, remember it, analyze it for what it is, slow it down, break each part down right there, and then go stow it. So you take a moment and you freeze it, meaning you take it and you focus in on the studies of it and find out what it is that makes you feel all that stuff you feel. And then you analyze it to be like, well, regardless of how you feel, bro, that ain't right. So you have to do these things with self.
Yeah.
Before you go outside, before you get outside of that conversation with someone else, because someone else now can't hurt you or be able to, like, you won't be able to take these things personal. You'll be able to actually, again, tune into it. It's about tuning, the tuning forks. You know what I mean? You got to tune. Band, back to the band.
Back to the band, yep.
Yeah. So that's why I say it all goes together.
Yeah.
It all goes together, but then again, it don't, because when it don't go together, how can you tell me it do? Like you can't put the two together, but the love, I love you and spit. How do you put the two together?
Right.
And get the result you're looking for?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm interested. And I'll wait.
That's hard to do.
I mean, I will literally sit there and wait. That's what I'm saying. So you freeze frame a moment, analyze it, and see where all right, everything that feels good, but bro, that doesn't work. You can't spit in nobody's face and say you still love them. Like, so you eliminate that and you move on. Other than that, you sit there and argue with the things that ain't going, the impossible stuff to control. Like, I couldn't control you I couldn't control the person who spit.
Yeah.
Like the spit coming out of you, I can't control that.
Right.
But I gotta control what I do.
Right.
Yep.
The reaction.
The reaction.
But this is the issue. People have spent majority of their life trying to control the person that spit.
Lord,
ignoring themselves,
yeah,
and arguing with self, and then trying to blame everybody else for that nonsense. See, that's chaotic to me. But I can slow it down because I learn how to listen and freeze frame the moment and mirror you. I mean, that's a grip.
You're right. No, you're right. But I like how you took the way in which you do and perform your art, how that is based on a mindset and a way of thinking and looking a perspective for the world. Right. Because like she said, I'm not even gonna lie, man, you know how to simplify things properly. Like, so you don't have to get confused. Like, and like you said, part of that, like you said, is slowing it down. Like, all right, take time, man, slow that down, bring it down.
Yeah, I mean, it's moving that fast.
It is.
You know what I mean? And think about the engine. See, I thought about an engine, like the piston in it. You know, I seen the little piston arm, one up, and then the other one is down. One up, one down.
Yep.
Okay, they have a what they call a threshold, meaning it's going to that up, and it ain't gonna go no further.
Yep.
That means there's a limit. That means I don't control it going beyond that. If it do, the engine breaks.
Yep.
If I force it. So that's where you find out you can't force people to learn. You can't force help on people.
No.
People have to be accepted of that. That's a received thing. That's not a take. They have to receive that. But you have to be there in order to offer it.
Yeah, that vehicle.
Yeah, okay. that vehicle at that moment. But these are moments. These are moments I'm talking about. This ain't an overall thing. These are moments.
Yeah, spots in time.
Yeah, these are moments that constantly change. The point being is are you?
I like how he goes back to that. You gotta have that responsibility on yourself.
Come on, man. Change them outfits, bro. I ain't in your house, man. I'm not in your house. I don't eat your food, chew it up. I don't taste it. I don't do none of that. I chew my own food.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's taking the responsibility to realize, what works for me works for me. Exactly. But it'll work for you when you apply it to your life, when and where and how it does. It's not the way that I do. It's the way, but again, it's the principle. Principles are not going to change. Yeah. The principle's never going to change. Never. Only the outfits.
And that's the lifestyle people should literally live by every day. Like that needs to be like written on your mirror, cars. Like,
yeah, man. So, if you want the world, get out the way of it.
That's $1 million worth of game right there, yo.
I'm telling you. We got a new cast coming on now, man. We got a new
what current projects are you working on, or would you like anyone to, check out?
I tell you what, right now, my current project that I'm working on is this book. Is putting this book, December the 15th will be 10 years in the film industry.
Wow.
December the 15th, exactly 2:37 p.m.
Right on the money.
You know what I mean? And I'm working on this book, and I'm just promoting from now until then and up until this Olympics. And in February, I leave in January, and I'll be there up until February. And I'm looking to drop the book on that second quarter of the next year. So that's pretty much the main thing. Actually, I just finished shooting in Summerville, South Carolina, about a month ago. I just finished shooting season 3 to this reality show on HGTV called Rock the Block.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Stop, man.
Yeah. So I just finished that. So that should be coming up soon. And a few other things. But other than that book and that show there, man, those are the main things right now. But again, right now, the Instagram, you can go right now. My website is under construction, I would call it. I'm working on a few things, but you can at least find my bio information there. Sure. And if you're looking to get some of that magical service done there, you know what? I can't leave this without adding this. I would definitely need to let your audience know that, when you get your program set internally, you will begin to set things up for yourself. Like right now, I'm the only hip hop jib-hop in the world.
True.
The hip hop jib-hop. Like there are country bands. There are hip, like they know about the hip hop jib-hop. It's only one, and that's moi.
There's only one. Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah, real talk.
That's it. Well, it's the joke, but that's actually, I had to bring that up because that's the name of my website. That's the name I call my website. Yep. And also, I want to forgive me for this one, but I am training. I am currently putting together a course to whereas I will be able to train whether you're inexperienced or whether you're experienced into film. I will be training people and taking registrations for training coming up in February in 2022 to be, for training. And that training will pretty much be life skills that you can take. You will have practical steps that you can be able to take and utilize and literally change your life, because I am only going to show you how to God way. Get out the way, man. Simple.
I love it. Please explain all the services you offer, because, you do both music and the jib. So, like, what are all the services? Like, what type of people are you looking to work with or attract to you?
Okay, well, I tell you what. If you have an idea and you're looking to display that to the world, I am capable of helping you to bring that to life. So whether it's video, whether it's music, whether it's high-end live concerts, streaming, things of that nature, I'm a production company. So that means I can produce whatever it is that's needed at high quality, because I understand clearly I don't do everything. I just do what I do. Money. And that's pretty much that. You know what I mean?
I definitely appreciate this episode. That's all I can say.
Hey, man, this is a great episode, man. I appreciate you sticking up with us despite the technical difficulties this morning.
Hey, man, I couldn't be in film business and have an issue with that.
Yeah, that's I really appreciate that, because I just thought about that and I was scratching myself. Yeah, of course he understands. This stuff happens. Yeah, man. Like I said, you dropped $1 million worth of game today for our audience. I know I'm going to go back and listen to this one again, because you already got me motivated. I already have some things I need to be looking at. And I'll tell you what, man, this is the type of discussions we like to have for our audience, because we're all about, especially as young adults, trying to figure out how to do what we need to do better, be better people, adults and professionals, and whatever genre or field of work that we're in. And so, man, I'm telling you, man, from the Hilltop Glove, from all of the creators and to the audience, man, we thank you today for being our guest, Mr. Gripp Tight. Man, I know a lot of our audience members are going to be happy to hear this because they like when stuff goes down the rabbit hole. We probably could have went deeper. We had to start doing some special live after shows.
Yeah, but totally. I'm with it, man. I am with that. I'll tell you this, though, guys. I want to say this is my first podcast. The first podcast interview, and you have to understand it's special to me because it's the first. I didn't seek it.
And then I found they found me. The podcast, they found me. Like,
you know, I was told this once. I'll drop this one too. I was told this, man. What you seeking in life is seeking you.
Yeah.
But that had to sink into me. Like, hold on, let me stop looking for some certain things because I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want the stuff that comes with it.
Yes.
So I stopped looking for it. You know what I mean? I had to put that there. And then I know there's another jewel I probably should have dropped in the show, but this has something to do with that one person that want to make a transition from in their eating habits.
Yeah.
Okay. When that person want to make a change in that from eating, it's like this. If you want to lose weight, I ask these questions. When it comes to your trash, do you lose your trash or do you get rid of it?
Ooh.
Well, and it's a question to ask, like, because I would say, well, I lose my trash. I mean, I get rid of my trash.
Get rid of it.
So when it comes to weight, why do people lose weight? See, that's because when you lose something, this is psychological. This is neuro. When you lose something, the program naturally runs to go look and find. So guess what you're going to do with that weight you just lost?
You're going to find it.
You're going to find it again because you put it right back on you. You're going to go and find it. You're going to find it. Guaranteed. Lose that diamond ring.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say, if that's the case, get rid of the weight. Get rid of the eating habits.
Yeah.
If you get rid of because you don't get rid of your trash, you lose. You get rid of your trash. You don't lose it.
Yeah.
So if the dead weight is something that you want to really get rid of, then I need to hear people saying rid the weight instead of lose the weight because you're gonna find it again.
Right.
That's Skippy.
See, these are programs. These are programs people have to write.
Yeah.
You have to write these programs. That's why I say you have to slow it down and store it in your memory because that's when you've written it to the drive. So once it's in the drive, the program runs. See, nobody did nothing on this planet that wasn't from the mental thing happening, meaning you thought about it or it was put in that program. Yeah. So if you don't have the program running, bro, like when we logged on and we had these little issues, with the technical stuff.
Speak on it.
Yeah. All of that was simply because of the simple fact it's the program. The program was already running, right? The program was already. So the program, meaning the data that's in there that's causing it to run, has to be written, y'all. Yeah. So you have to. That's why they call it rewrite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. Rewrite it, bro. It's the data. Just read it.
Just read it.
So the program. So what I'm saying is think about it again. Sometimes some things have to be programmed, like thought about. You're not going to do it unless you think about it. So I don't think like when I'm out there operating a gym, I'm not thinking.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm not thinking. That's a problem if you out there thinking. If you got to think at that point in time, I'm gonna give you a prime example and leave it right there. When Kobe would bounce the ball back when he's dribbling the ball down the court, do you literally think he's thinking about dribbling that ball?
Nope.
Kobe would be conscious with that player, meaning that the dribble is a program. It's a subconscious program that's running. So that program running is something he written and he put it into play. and it's playing. So it's from constantly going out there and dribbling. What they say, the 10,000 hours or whatever the time.
Yeah, you gotta become a master.
All right, that's a program. See, I hear the master stuff, but I don't want to attach it to my brain. What I need to know is that's the programming.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, again, because he programmed it, guess who's calling him a master? We are. Yeah, that's what we see. So we see the thing called change. Kobe didn't change. He's still that little dude that he talked about when he wanted the love for, basketball. Like, you see what I'm saying? And the same with anybody else. It's the same thing that goes on. So when you write the program has no choice but to run. But when you have an issue, you have to be able to troubleshoot. You have to have a tech support. Meaning you got to take a moment and breathe. That's your tech support. Take a moment and breathe. That's your tech support. Yeah, because you gotta report back. If not, you're gonna stay in your brain. You remember earlier before we made that transition, we was still in our brains, and that program wasn't reading none of this stuff. It wasn't. Yeah. Okay, so you was still in our brains. Nobody did. Nobody took a breather until we reset the program. All right, it took a inhale in, then it exhale. All right, let's go, y'all. Boom. And that's what happens. So that's what people have to slow down at a point and get to that point. Get to that point of programming, because you are the instrument. Remember, the computer. You're the instrument. You are. So yeah, I definitely want to leave that with that. Listen, man, y'all got me worked up right now. I don't know,
man, that's a good thing. That's a good
workout. Y'all got me worked up here, man.
I told them this was going to happen. I said, you guys, this is going to happen. So we should do good.
So that's why we flipped it, so we can have that extra time.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate that though. But y'all got the exclusive, so. Y'all have the exclusive. This is the first interview ever.
Thank you. We appreciate you blessing us with this time, brother.
Hey, it was my pleasure. It's definitely my pleasure.
Man, anything else you want to say, Tamaya?
Nope. I just enjoyed the whole conversation, how it led down the rabbit hole and back. So thank you for that.
Great dialogue.
No problem. Thank you, guys. And I would say keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? Y'all keep doing your thing. This is definitely important. And hey, one day you might have to come over here and I may need to interview you guys,
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Good. Yeah, man. I hope
Most definitely, Kevin. But yeah, man, let's get together, Kevin. Let's definitely talk, offline at some point in time. And catch up on a few things,
All right. I think he has Savannah, but yeah, I'm going to close out for today. This is the Hilltop Glove. I want to thank, of course, Mr. Gripp for being with us today as our guest. I want to thank my co-host Tamaya and Kevin and Mike. And as I always like to say, happy Saturday, man. Much blessings. Peace to everybody. Be safe out there. And we will see you on the next episode.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.